Like I watched the anime, even after a couple episodes, I really liked it. Like I was ready to give it a 9 or 10 out of 10 after
I'm
a
saying.
couple episodes. Now it's almost done. Like couple weeks left, couple
Yeah.
episodes. Uh, I don't know. I don't see any like big flaws or anything that I just don't like. They do the characters well. I don't know how you can call the characters one-dimensional. They are one of the some of the characters are the most interesting ones like this season or last season, this year, that last year. Like they are not just cardboard cutouts with one quality. They all have different motives that are not easy to see. Like for example, the swordsman, the blonde one, I forgot his name. Domas? Yeah, should be Domas.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, you think he's a bad guy at the beginning, but then you see like no, he actually isn't, and or maybe he is. I don't know. Like he has complicated emotions sometimes, so I don't know.
That's why I like because not just him, but like every other character. Well, not maybe every character, but majority of characters in the show, like they're not just one dimensional. Because even I'm still reading this man's review, and he's making it seem like, oh, they all have generic guys backstories, and they don't really matter to the story. I'm like, bro, seeing Kage, and like of course spoilers, but seeing Kage in the most recent episode, and him having to choose Boji or his mom, that was crazy.
Yeah,
That shit was intense.
Like
good ass
that,
episode.
That was wild, and the fact that like he wasn't crying or nothing either. Like he was so like resolute. Like I have something to like live for now with Boji.
Pure
That shit was
determination.
That shit was crazy, man. So for you to sit here and be like, the flashbacks don't matter, it's so generic. Like, bro, like the whole saying of like, oh, they're trying to pull on the heartstrings. They were yanking on them bitches that episode. They were going crazy. I was like, bro, I was about
Indeed.
to
Wait,
wait, man.
before I go too much into this, yeah, welcome back to the Open Window podcast. I think it's episode 9 or 8. Should be 9 or I actually forgot.
I think it's 9, yeah.
Yeah, and this time we have Taco, like Jazz and I as always, but Taco is here this time
Yes,
as well.
sir.
We plan to have Mogo too, but he
That
isn't
makes
caught
sense.
up yet, and yeah, we want him to watch the whole like all the episodes that are out right now. I think 19 episodes are there. He's missing like 10, I think. He said it's best not to spoil him on anything, so he might come back next time if we ever mention this show. I don't know, maybe not.
He's fucked. It's okay.
Maybe for the tier list if we do it separately, like if I upload it separately, I don't know.
So, yeah.
But yeah, what was it? Yeah, okay, exactly. You were talking about these characters that people call unoriginal and stuff. I remember reading similar stuff in Odd Taxi reviews. Like people watch Odd Taxi, the characters are also mostly very interesting and stuff, but then you always see people saying, nope, these characters are very basic, are very predictable, one-dimensional. Like the one kid that collected erasers to be able to fit in somehow, because he had nothing like that defined him as a person. No one wanted to be friends with him, so he tried collecting these erasers, and this got out of hand. Like I think this character was like one of the best or one of the most interesting ones.
Yeah.
Because like sure, the whole eraser thing, you might call it childish or stupid because it's just erasers, but I can imagine like easily that people IRL would do the same thing or act the same. Gambling, other addictions, and it all starts in school. Like not always, but a lot of times these things start in school, like when they are still young, and it just escalates. I don't think these shows have necessarily bad characters. They're mostly, or all of them, in all of ranking of things, I would say are at least interesting.
No, it's definitely what's it called? I'm like, even with looking at like Odd Taxi, like I like how like these characters that they make is not like they maybe like give you a layout at the beginning of the show and that's it. Like they build them up throughout the story. Like even in like you said, the Odd Taxi comparison, but the guy who like fell off with the eraser, it basically showed you how a gamble addiction starts from the ground up. Like he was a kid, he was competing with someone in his class about who had the better erasers. He was literally gambling his money online trying to get the best eraser just for it to screw him over, and how that tied back into his future where like now he's working at a gaming company and he's still doing the same thing. He's still aiming for the top, but still gambling his life away. And he hasn't learned from his situation. He doesn't learn that like what he's doing is wrong for himself by the end of the whole season. And it shows like growth throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
We're not done yet with Ranking of Kings, but that like I guess like that foundation is placed for a lot of characters, like with Daida, with the Moranjo, like with everyone. Like they started off one place and they've like fleshed them out so well towards the end. And it might not be like a full 180. Like for example, a character like the shield guy, Dorsch, him compared to like maybe a Daida, it's not gonna be the same evolution of a character, but it's still gonna be very fleshed out and thought out. So
Yeah.
I don't know, they're like, oh, these characters are so generic. They're just common anime tropes, bro. This shit's like one of the most original shows I've seen in like 2 years.
Yeah,
like,
but
right next to,
it
like,
was hella refreshing to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and like when I found this show, I watched a couple episodes. I already knew it's good. And then I became like almost a cult leader in our Discord and tried to make people watch the show. I don't know how many people I personally was able to convert into watching.
All of us.
Taco, I think Taco was the first one who told me he started watching. So I was just interested, Taco. You haven't seen a lot of anime, relatively. I think, how many anime did you watch? 5, 6, 7, around that number, I think. So I was just interested to hear how your experience was watching.
Yeah, so in total, I guess just basing off of the amount of anime that I've watched. So I'm looking at my anime list right now. So it's just 14 entries. So that also overlaps with multiple seasons of certain shows. So let's just say out of all animes, I probably watched like maybe like 6 or 7, maybe total. But even with that being the case, I do have to say that this show is definitely unlike any of the other animes that I've watched. So just to give the audience an idea of what I've watched before, so I'm just gonna go down the list real quick. So besides this one, we have My Hero, we have Dr. Stone, Jujutsu Kaisen, Kakiguri. You also have Cowboy Bebop, a little bit of Rent a Girlfriend, best anime of all time, 4 episodes of Demon Slayer, Nyambo, and then a few episodes of Attack on Titan. Now, when it came to looking up, this show, obviously I know like Pam was posting about it like crazy, and I was like, you know what, let me check this out. So I got a Crunchyroll free trial / subscription or whatever, and I started watching it. And so they obviously, like a lot of animes, the episodes are like 20 minutes. I was like, okay, that's cool. Shouldn't take too much time to get a good amount of watching done, right? So I watched I think maybe the first day I watched like the first 3 episodes. I'm like, wow, this is, definitely, it was definitely worth the hype that Pan was basically making it seem like, the show was amazing and stuff like that. Right after Jump, I would just definitely say, without getting too much into like reviewing the whole thing, I guess like my first impression of it, I was really shocked at the fact that a show can make me so emotionally invested and so emotionally, it can what is the word, like emit like such an emotional reaction from the viewer, for the first time, and just like the first episode, because those first 2 episodes like killed me, man. Like it was like heartbreaking in a sense, obviously, to those who do have watched the show, or once you do watch the show, you're gonna see what I mean. It is heartbreaking in a sense because you see what goes on, and you see what's happening with Boji, and how things are not always as they seem. He's actually going through pain and stuff, without any of us really knowing to that extent. Now, being able to build up so much like character development, I guess, and just the first, just like really the first episode, the first 2 episodes are so strong. and it gives up the backstory of Kage. It gives up the entire story basically and backstory, I guess, on Boji. How obviously he's just like this, you see how the people in the town, the people in the kingdom treat him, how other people, like, even the people you have like Domas and the other guy, I forget his name, Hokuro. So you have them basically being his mentors growing up, like teaching him how to do this and that. But in the end, obviously, to Domas, we see it doesn't really matter because he's just gonna stick to the being loyal to the throne per se. So you see, obviously we see what happens, and really, and I saw other videos talking about this as well. Just the end of the second episode solidified the series as probably my favorite out of any anime that I've watched so far.
Damn.
And just because the emotional gravity that the show itself had, in just those first two episodes, like I said, in just those 40 minutes, the first two episodes, 40 minutes, it really it did a lot, to what what would I say? It basically just did so much in so little time, to the fact that I was like so impressed and so like, wow, I can't believe this actually, this is how this is going. So I definitely 100% recommend it to anybody and everybody. And I'm looking forward to, these last few episodes of the season. I'm sure the next season will come out in another 5 years because the manga is just starting its like second arc, kind of, whatever. But like I said, that being said, this really is like a powerhouse of an anime, and it doesn't have like too many characters. It doesn't have, every single character has their own role. Like it has the role in the show. And even though at times I know some people may not like how there may be like 2-3 kind of storylines kind of happening at the same time, in the sense of, we see everything happening with Boji and Kage going out on the adventure the first half of the season, and then we learn more about like Daida, and then we also do learn more about like King Boss, whatever how you pronounce his name, like his backstory and everything like that, all that type of stuff. Just in those few episodes, they just a little bit, maybe like that's like personal preference at that point, like not confusing, but I wouldn't say overwhelming is a word either. But that being said, you do get a lot of information from that. Everything that they give you in the show is necessary, it's needed. It's like there's no filler, there's no like information that they're giving you that's not gonna come back later or like worth it and stuff like that. So even the bad characters, or like the characters that aren't as great as the other ones, they're not that bad. Like honestly, they if we were to do like a ranking, for example, like a tier list, there's no character I would pull below a D. And even with that being said, the characters that are D, it's just like characters that maybe have been shown like an episode or two, like haven't necessarily been fleshed, like given the opportunity to flesh out, as up to what they could be. So like I said, man, this is definitely my favorite anime right now. My favorite anime, perhaps, of all time that I've seen. Obviously, take that with a grain of salt. I've only seen like 7 animes. But that being said, just out of those great anime, I mean, some of them are great, some of them are kind of ass.
Yeah.
Animes that I've seen, it stands out like, I want to use a funny metaphor. It stands out like a fucking Toyota Corolla in a haystack,
What is that comparison? But damn, yeah, you heard it here first. Taco's favorite anime, Dr. Stone, was dethroned by a ranking of kings.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, crazy for that.
Deserved.
That's like personality. That's his life. Fuck.
Yeah, and what you said about characters being able to just become very interesting, relatable, or other adjectives that I just don't come to mind right now, in a couple episodes. Like, there are a lot of shows out that are not able to make you care about any of the characters in 12, 13, maybe double season, like 24 episodes. You just don't care. You watch the show, you might not even remember any names because you just don't care about them at all. And then you have these rare occasions where a show does everything right and you care about someone after 1, 2, maybe 3 episodes. And I mean, of course, like looking at reviews on my anime list, like this weird place of weird opinions, you can call it cheap or anything, you can call it whatever you want, but you honestly cannot deny the fact that the studio and the author did their job really well. Because if they didn't, if it was really like just cheap writing, that you wouldn't care about anyone, but you do in such a short amount of time. So they have to be doing something right? That's at least what I think.
Yeah, because even I know a lot of people were mad because if you watch the anime or you are going to watch it, there's the Queen Healing. She's like I guess like the healer. She's like the crutch of the whole show.
Fucking bad.
So,
oh my god.
Oh, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later. But for her whole thing is that the fact people are mad because she keeps bringing people. Not I won't say people. I guess like the small minority are pissed that she keeps bringing people back and no one there's no real stakes in the show because if anyone is on the brink of death, she can just bring them back and heal them and stuff like that. I'm like, bro, you act like that's not every anime ever. If you've watched Dragon Ball, if you watch Naruto, they brought people back 10 times over.
This is really criticism? People say?
What? Yeah, because I was on my anime list and it was there's no stakes. That one we were reading, they're like, oh, there's no stakes. Quinn Healing she just goes around and just heals anyone. No one really dies. Who cares about I'm not attached to any of the characters. I'm like, bro, every anime ever does that. Every anime ever does that.
JoJo does it all the time, and I rarely hear anyone talk about this. JoJo Part 3 doesn't even have a healer. They can get pierced through the fucking stomach, and next episode they're all fine and dandy. Part 4 has a straight up healer stand. The MC is able to heal everyone, so no important character ever really dies. So talking about stakes, no JoJo part ever just kills off their important characters just like that. And Ranking of Kings is no different. Sometimes you just need a healer. You don't need to kill all your characters to make people care about them.
I'm saying, people act when they were first watching Dragon Ball and they saw Krillin got eviscerated by Frieza in the air, people were still oh my god, I can't believe they did that. And then they brought the nigga back next episode with the Dragon Balls. It was we're gonna be honest here. I hate people in the anime community because they're so hypocritical. They'll sit there oh, Dragon Ball is my favorite anime ever, and they'll turn around and be oh man, I hate Naruto, bro. They no one really dies in this show. Bro, your show is literally the depiction of reincarnation. Goku dies 9 times in the episode and comes back the next episode. Come on now.
I mean, nothing new, honestly. Hypocrisy in the anime community, as you just said, Dragon Ball. I don't know how good of a writing choice it was to make it possible to use Dragon Balls to revive people. Sure, once or twice. I don't know if there's if there's a way for a limitation to be introduced, so you cannot always revive people, because at this point in the show they are able to easily find all the Dragon Balls, because after one wish they just randomly appear on Earth somewhere, and they are able to track them now through fucking GPS, and they collect them in less than a day, and then they have a wish again. What the Krillin can die how many times, however many times he wants. They know they can bring him back. I don't see any stakes in the whole show. Maybe if we're talking about Dragon Ball Super, the most recent season, I think it's already over too. The whole final tournament of power, whatever it was called, stakes were there, so the whole universe was about to destroy it if they lost. But apart from this one tournament, they are usually always able to bring back dead characters. And this is obviously not something that is exclusive to these old shows, Dragon Ball and stuff. Naruto did it too, with the whole Pain arc. Everyone in Konoha basically died, and Pain was had a change of heart and saved everyone. Bleach does it. I'm watching Bleach currently. Bleach does it too. Characters either almost die or are saved by some plot armor, and sure, you can call it once again bad writing or anything, but I think every show does it to some extent. Like you cannot kill all your characters in their first or second fight, because then there are no characters left. Chainsaw Man kind of did it, but also like we know that in part 2, I still feel like some characters can come back. I don't know, like they're too good to just kill off. We'll see.
I agree.
Spoilers, obviously. The author did the unthinkable of giving everyone, except for maybe Denji, no plot armor, and everyone just dies like at some point, or like out of the blue, someone can just get shot in the head and they are gone forever.
That scene was crazy in the manga. Like, just flipping on page and seeing that shit, I was like, what the fuck?
Nah, the fucking train scene.
Yeah, that shit surprised the fuck out of me. But like characters like Power or Makima, kinda. Oh my god. Oh my god. But yeah, Power, maybe even Aki. I still feel like you could somehow bring them back. Somehow. I don't know if the author wants to do it this way, but he gave Denji some plot armor. Like Denji is coming back after fights he probably should have lost. Makima has the ultimate power of plot armor. I mean, of course, it's not really plot armor, but the whole if I die, I get revived and someone else in Japan dies for me thing is, I don't know. It's also like in some way a healing ability, kinda. So you never have like Makima never have. So you never have like killed off, and the author also knows like he can kill Makima for shock value, but she still comes back. So, as you said, a lot of shows do this. I don't see it as big criticism. If I had to criticize something, hard to say. Animation is pretty unique. Of course, it's not bombastic and stuff. Voice acting is done very well. And then you have landscapes, like the art. The art is very beautiful. The opening and stuff, like music is like banger after banger. Like I love both of the openings. The first one especially is very unique. Like if you really look into it, like they use violence and stuff, like instruments in a more fun and unique way, compared to other anime that mainly focus on J-pop songs, like these fast upbeat songs. The second opening is more like that, but I think the visuals and the singer still bring it home. Like it still feels very unique. But the first one especially, I think a lot of people liked it just because it sounded different compared to other anime shows that, I don't know, exist in general or were coming out that season. Yeah.
There is no like I can't see like any valid critiques, even like objective wise, on Ranking of Kings, because everything that's involved is so strong. Like there's no anything holding it back. Yeah. Like any critique I've seen up to this point has been like, y'all are reaching. I'm sorry. Like this is like y'all is reaching for the stars.
I mean, also because I haven't like tried to look out for it. I've only seen videos of people praising it, but I don't think I've never seen any like critiques for real. But what are some of the critiques people have been saying that that aren't trolling, like the genuine critiques that people have?
That's all I was saying. Is just characters are not like characters. I'm not attached to the characters. Like people are not dying. Like even though like people dying does not make a show necessarily good. I.e., Agame get killed. They killed like everybody in that damn show first episode. They killed like, I think Agame get killed in the first episode. They killed like 3 of the main characters, and like it was like normally like it was like
it's all for like shock value.
Yeah, like it's still like new. Like I haven't seen this before, but it's like you have to do it properly. You can't just kill off a main character and be like, oh yeah, good story. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah, the viewers don't even care about these characters, or I mean, some will care probably, since it's all subjective. But when I was watching this show, even without any like big knowledge on anime and how writing works, I was watching the show and was thinking like, damn, they died. Now what? Like, anyways, like doesn't matter. Like I can't remember any of their names. Like I remember a lot of anime characters' names, even though I watched them many years ago. I cannot remember a single name, except for maybe the blue-haired girl, for maybe obvious reasons.
As that?
Yeah, everyone talks about her on TikTok, so I know her name, but all the others, I don't know.
I just know her and Akame, the main character.
Ah, that's
Everyone-
easy. That's in the title.
Yeah, everyone else has no clue what their names are. I don't know. That's not a valid critique in my opinion.
Yeah, it really isn't.
The animation was good. Like I said, but like in my opinion, like I guess I want to cut up the first season into like two parts, like the first half and the second half, because the first half is more like exposition, like building up all the characters, setting foundation,
Yeah.
and then the second half is like the payoff. Like I'm not, because maybe I'm more of like I grew up on like when I started watching anime, I was watching a lot of like action and shonen, so maybe I just like prefer action over like other types of stuff. So seeing like in the second half there's a lot more action. Like they're just off the gate, they're just start like as soon as you see that new opening, the second opening, is action. Boji's over here fighting everybody. You got like all these different characters like facing off once against each other. Even this last episode, seeing like the big four, that was fucking clean as hell. Like all the just like I guess like supporting each other and like
Yeah.
the banter. That shit was wavy as hell.
Yeah, I like the choreography, like them fighting
Yeah.
together, finally showing why they're called the Elite
Exactly.
Four. Yeah, damn.
I thought everybody could mix, but they destroyed that fight. I was like, yes sir, okay, finally, man. But
Yeah.
seeing stuff like this is great, bro. This is great. Like, so I can't see any faults because the animation is good too. Like, not just like the art, but like the actual like fighting animation. It's not like fucking, like I guess like Demon Slayer or something like that, but it's really, really good for what it is.
Yeah.
And then it's the art style really well. And
Oh.
to seeing Boji I guess like pricking people and like just taking niggas out, I was so proud, man. It's like a proud dad. Like, yes sir, man, go crazy.
Yeah, we of course will see how it develops, and like
Yeah.
in these following weeks. I don't think they are able to fuck anything up now. Maybe maybe they could fail establishing the entire or finishing off the antagonist, like writing wise. I don't think so. Like as of right now, everything is up to my liking. Like I don't know. Like I don't see any big flaws, but we will see obviously. But also because you reminded me of this, like the whole fighting style of Boji, I have to give them props. Boji's fighting style is very unique. Like I've never seen this type of fighting, I think, before. Maybe I'm just missing some pieces of fiction, but the whole not having a big sword or bow or anything, like just this small. I don't even know how they are called. In
It's
English.
I think it's a rapier. I think it's like a French weapon.
Yeah,
Which makes sense. Yeah.
for fencing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he uses that not to cut people, not to do anything. It's just that he knows where he has to hit and be able to usually one-shot or two-shot people. So that's just very interesting to me. But then they introduce an antagonist that completely counters him, which is also, I think, a very interesting choice to make. Like, Boji is not just steamrolling everyone. His opponent, he can, like, all he learned, like all the whole time, like he was training, all this hard training, then he gets there, war arc, like no Naruto, and his opponent, he's not able to use anything he learned. So he has to rely on other people's help, and these people are only there to help him because of his development and his nature.
Yeah.
So it all comes together at the end now. I don't know how I think Taco also DM'd me or mentioned it, like asked me, because he didn't understand the antagonist yet completely.
Yeah.
Because like she obviously wants like some people dead, the kingdom should be gone and stuff, so she can go on to adventures with King Bosse again, like in the past. But she also then saves Kage, for example, because he wanted to go to his mom and in the afterlife, and she gets him back, or she gives them advice against the what's his name, Oaken, the immortal soldier. So she has like two sides, I think, right now, and at the moment we probably cannot really say why she does the things she does. I think it should have something to do with Daida being or somehow influencing her heart, like when he met her as a young child. We'll see. It looks promising.
Wait, is she I think I already talked about this already, but is she the girl that saved Kage at the very, very beginning? Is that someone different?
No, that's someone different.
Yeah, that's someone different. Sure. Yeah, I also talk about this. Like these two characters, we haven't seen them yet, and so far the show usually follows the whole concept of what's it's called, it's Chekhov's gun, which just means that if you mention something or show something, then it shouldn't be there for no reason. Like if you somehow show a character and make it seem like they are of any importance, then they should come back. Or if you maybe show a weapon, or like the name of the whole idea itself, like Chekhov's gun, like if you show a gun, it has to be relevant at some point again. It shouldn't be there to just be there. So and so far, every character that was shown somehow became relevant. Some are more relevant, some are less relevant, but they still come back. They still have important roles to play. And this girl, I think she might come back. Like, of course, she was just there to save him, but also the way she acted, I don't know, like, I feel like she might still come back. The show has done this all the time so far, introducing a character. Even I think in episode 4 or 3, the guy in the woods that Boji was dancing with, and then they make a callback and we find out who he even is and why he's there. Of course, not like a whole big ass story, but at least like we see him again. And I didn't even realize this after Taco sent a gif of Boji dancing with that guy, and I remember like, fuck, I just watched the episode and he was shown before he became crazy and started living in the woods. So we might see them again. But nope, she's not the same girl.
I feel like all of it makes sense because, and for context, that girl we're talking about, I think it's like in episode 2, like Kage is running away from being killed, and his mom, like, his mom is a mom and tells him to like save himself. I'll give you time. And when he's running away, he almost gets captured. But there's a girl, I think like her caretaker, and she hides him in her toy so he doesn't get caught. And then he's like, oh, whatever, and he goes about it, and then he runs away. But like, we're talking about that girl, and we're trying to compare it to Miranda, but I think they're two different girls. Yeah, they look completely different. It wouldn't make any sense for her to be right there. Yeah. And speaking of what you're saying, yeah, I like that because, and even though they don't give you like a huge history or based on the king, and we're talking about the king that was with Boji inside the woods, and like they ate food and stuff like that together, and I think towards the end he wanted to sacrifice him. That shit was crazy. But I think it's cool that even though they didn't give him a full fleshed out story, you can kind of put the pieces together what happened. Because my theory is that because within that flashback in that episode, when they're showing his dad, I forget I think his name is like Kingbo, I think his name. Okay, and that's another thing too. I'm remembering everybody's name so far. I've not forgotten a single person's name. Even like even characters like Gigon, Boji's newfound ogre friend. Like even I haven't forgotten a single name yet. And I know it's I watched it recently, but like usually for most anime, I could just watch it and easily forget someone's name. I think even in AOT, there's that girl who's like in love with Mikasa or whatever, and she took her scarf in like the most recent episode. I don't know what the fuck that girl name is. I just watched the episode.
Super irrelevant character.
Exactly. But I think my theory is that the demon we've been seeing this whole entire time, that redheaded dude, not redheaded dude, but the red demon.
Yeah.
I think I think he infiltrated that kingdom because I guess like before he became that crazy guy in the woods, he slaughtered his whole kingdom because he had the sword with the blood at the end of that flashback. And of course, King Bo was like laying over, I think his wife and his kid, and it's like looking at everybody dead
Yeah.
in his kingdom. So I'm thinking like he went crazy and killed everyone and quote unquote sacrificed them for that demon or some type of demon, because there's no way he just killed his whole kingdom like that for no reason. So I'm thinking he sacrificed them for some type of cause, which is why now he's still crazy and still trying to sacrifice like animals and try to sacrifice Boji at the end of it. So I'm sure he has to do something with that demon. And that demon's been a common, like I guess like the demon's like the real villain throughout the whole story.
That's true.
He made Boss the way he is. He made Miranjo the way she is. I guess like demon / god, because he was the god that I don't know if it's the most recent episode or the second to most recent episode, but he was the god that like he came to the town right and was trying to oversee them, but then he decided not to enslave them or whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
He was that, right? Yeah, because his head I think his like head turned around or some shit.
Damn.
And he looked just like the demon. So I guess like he's a demon / a god because all the gods from the past, but like those are the main villains of the story in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely interesting lore, but also interesting theory. I didn't even think about this, but it sounds plausible to me. Of course, we will see in a couple of weeks if this theory holds true or comes true. But it sounds like a good theory. I think like the whole. I actually forgot about the whole devil thing. But yeah, this red one should be like one of the main antagonists, because we think Miranjo does stuff, but she and Bosse also kind of were influenced by the devil.
Yeah.
But yeah, like maybe as a last thing before we end this off, I just wanted to know, did you, when getting into this show, know about this show being, how do I say it, not for kids? Even though the art style seems to be for kids?
That was a big change.
I actually didn't, because when I think I saw one of the posters, I think it was on Crunchyroll, because on Crunchyroll they advertise it with like that one banner or poster where Boji, I think it is like underwear and it's just like, journalists on a throne or whatever. And I was like, oh, this is like, it's like a nice like kids thing. But then I think I don't know if it was, I probably was to the first episode, because spoiler, when they like basically like kill Kage's mom, and then you see all the other Kage people,
the whole clan,
yeah, the whole clan basically like dead with holes in them, like on the flagpoles and shit.
Yeah,
like that's, and I was like, oh wow, that's dark and shit.
Yeah, they use the whole black blob thingies. I don't know even how to call them. Like, I mean, probably just shadows. Just using shadows obviously doesn't look so brutal. Like they are not human heads or anything, and no blood, but it's just some good imagery. Like, I don't know if metaphor is the right word. Maybe just a comparison. Like, if they were humans, it would look more brutal, but they use these black blobs to show this, like, present the same message or same thing, but in a more obscure way. Just so it's allowed on television. Yeah, this show is for sure not for little kids. I even went to my anime list. I didn't even watch like the whole. I didn't even look at the page when starting the anime. It says PG-13, so definitely not for little kids. Like, imagine, like, I don't know the time the episode is aired in Japan, but imagine just parents like seeing this show, like the opening and stuff, and they're like, my kid can watch this, that's fine. And then the I don't know, 8-year-old, 10-year-old is watching this, and then they see people getting slaughtered. Oh my god.
No, it's just crazy. There's like a lot of crazy scenes. 'Cause even the ones Taco listed, those are just like two of like. There's a lot of crazy scenes.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not like it's the most gory. It's like it's not the most gory thing ever, but it's the fact that when you come into the show, like I thought it was gonna be like some simple slice of life, like oh we're gonna see Boji, like just be like just be Boji and just change the kingdom. Like a lot of shit happens. The fact, like for example, like I mentioned the character Gigon, his whole backstory is that he was a mercenary for overthrowing in the underworld for the underworld kingdom.
His backstory is crazy. Fuck.
Yeah, but so he was on one side, but the old regime, they I guess they had the mercenaries of like everybody else from his kind on the other side. So it was kind of like him versus his kind. And so they stole a baby from his kind, and they knew that like they take their children very seriously. So they tied the child up like as like I guess like hanging them, and was whipping this kid to bring them over to them. And then when they all came, he massacred them. And on top of that, when they were dead, they were like dancing around their corpses and shit, and was like praying and dancing and stuff. I think I guess not the main character, but the King Desha, he had to kill the kid that was hung up to like to make the morale of his soldiers to rise. Like the whole sequence was crazy.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like a graphic ass show, but it's still like what the fuck.
Yes.
And I would compare it to like a Promised Neverland, because like the show starts off, you're like, oh, this is gonna be like a very go lucky happy show, and then by the end of the first episode, you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I hope this becomes a trend. Like Made in Abyss did this, Promised Neverland did this, now Ranking of Kings, probably other shows as well. But I just like the whole. All right, Madoka Magica, I think it's called. Like there are also these little girls, and they are like have these magic fairy powers, and you're like, oh damn, just another fairy girl show. But then they just slaughter each other, and in some tournament type shit, and it's all pretty complex, brutal and stuff. So I like when anime do these, like subverting your expectations. Doesn't need to look like a kiddie show, of course. You can subvert in other ways, but I just like going into an anime blindly. Like when I started watching Ranking of Kings, I didn't know that it had these brutal type backstories or ideas and things. Sometimes even fights, like Oaken, Oaken is his name, right? The immortal soldier. He doesn't just kill people; he slices their, joints, kind of like hands and feet, so they cannot move their hands, they cannot move their legs, and they're just lying there on the ground, suffering, bleeding out, and he just sits there enjoying himself.
I forgot about that. That's just crazy. Like he slits their wrist, I think, and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I guess trigger warning. Like this is crazy, bro. Like when you're watching that show, there's a lot of stuff you're like I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
crazy. When he goes to the town, like right after that, he goes to the town. And he slits like the whole like maybe like 50% of the town's wrist, and they're all just bleeding out on the ground. Like it's crazy.
Actually, good parallel to Boji, because both of them can see or know where people's weaknesses are and where to hit people without killing them, but for different reasons. Boji just doesn't want to kill people, while Oaken wants them to die, but in a slow manner, so he doesn't want to kill them with like his attacks. They just die on their own.
I was gonna say that too. I wanted to start making some parallels between Boji and Miranjo and Boji and Oaken, but like I want to wait for the show to end first, and then we can come back and revisit it afterwards. Honestly, because I've been thinking about a lot of stuff about all the characters, but I want to see like how it finishes first. Hopefully, they actually have a good ending. Like I think, like you said, the only way they could fuck it up is if they mess up Miranjo. She's such a very complex character, and like you said, not all of us kind of know what she's doing for what like why she's doing what she's doing. I will say that I think she's changing throughout the story little by little, because like her interactions with both Daida and Boji. I guess when she was like during her backstory, when they showed it, she was like, she was even her backstory. They cut off both of her arms and like
and her face.
Yeah, and then they skinned her face off on like on some Martha is dead. You know, yeah,
Yeah.
shout out the game.
Damn.
That shit's crazy. But like I think because she was showed such like evilness in her past, like that when she met Daida in like that little void and he protected her, and then seeing how Boji is so kind, and that's kind of like reminding her of her mom when her mom told her to like live like add happiness to other people's happiness or something like that. Like I guess like she's seeing how Boji does that.
Yeah.
And also another, I think Boji and her look kind of similar, like appearance wise, when they were both kids. Because I think they both had like that same tooth missing in their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
They showed. So I think like maybe she's seeing like she's like seeing I guess like a past version of herself in Boji maybe. So like
Maybe.
interacting with both of them. Yeah.
Wouldn't
I don't know,
wouldn't be too far fetched. Yeah.
We'll have to see.
But so far, 19 episodes out. They have 4 episodes left to not fuck it up. I have hope in the author. Like the author is doing stuff very well now, so I don't think he just suddenly fucks stuff up. And Wit Studio also hasn't let us down in the last
Ever.
couple years, maybe ever even. Actually, let me check what Wit Studio made except for Attack on Titan, Vinland Saga, and Ranking of Kings. They did Great Pretender. They did Mahotsakai. What's the English name? I can't. The Ancient Magus Bride. I haven't watched it, but I know it's like a very good romance anime. They did Vivi or Vivi.
Oh shit.
What else?
Oh, this one. I see what you're saying.
Oh, the other Attack on Titan clone, Kabaneri on the or of the Iron Fortress. Yeah, they
That's
also did that.
Yeah, like, oh, that's pretty good too.
And Owari no Seraph. Yeah, they did some good shows throughout the years. They didn't disappoint, I think. Like stuff looks really good on their end. So I don't think Wit Studio is going to fuck anything up here. Characters are like I think all of them are well written. Some of course more than others, but that's just a given for any piece of writing. I guess we'll see. And yeah, I think we can end this off here. We can do we also want to do a tier list, just for fun, like our opinion on like which characters are better than others. I think it should be a separate video, right?
We're definitely separately.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, getting all these possible views, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, thank you for listening. This has been Panna Cotta once again with me, Jazz, and Taco, our guest. Damn. Taco's gonna oh my god. Taco's gonna come back for sure at some point when we talk about or oh my god, but like when the Chainsaw Man anime drops, Taco is instantly going to be there. We have to do a podcast as soon as episode 1 drops, just like first impressions.
Power animated.
Power is not getting animated in episode 1.
Shut your ass up.
Damn. Like that's when does she even appear in the manga? I think she should like anime wise she should appear in like episode 2 or 3 maybe. I don't know.
You're a hater. They're gonna hint her in the first episode. Yes, sir.
What the fuck? Yeah.
You know, dude, anime only. Anime only.
I'm about to spoil everyone.
On my end of episode, bro. What the fuck?